Yes, Swami, this is a time of gratitude. The Thanksgiving Day is tomorrow, and we are so grateful for this time together to be in the conscious presence of yours through this meditation session. And we are grateful to you for sending us Brother Al and Sister Roseanne to help us get into this divine presence as they walk us through this meditation. Please be with us, Swami, and help us to get the experience we deserve to get as you have planned it for us. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sairam. We place ourselves lovingly at the lotus feet of our divine Lord incarnate, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Guide us. You are the doer of all. Krishna, Sai Rama. You are the doer of all, and within us, you do this meditation. You are the meditator within every being. You meditate within us. You are the speaker, and the thoughts and feelings you speak and feel and think through us. Love through us, Swami, and the love in action through us to help all humanity and all beings. Please. Thank you for everything, the breath of life and everything that follows. Thank you. So tonight we'd like to start off speaking about something very deep and real. And that has to do with a lot within the thought of Sharanagati, or surrender to the Supreme within us and all around us. Not someone outside, not some Sadguru necessarily, because that is where it only starts. That's like the kindergarten of surrender, to do what the Guru says, what the teacher says. But the inner teacher is the one supremely reflected in the outer teacher, and then we have to follow our conscience, we have to follow our Dharma, we have to follow the highest Dharma of ourself in any situation. We have to be able to discern between a lower Dharma and a higher Dharma, and what right action and action that is willed by God, as opposed to something that is tainted by our ego or our desires and our attachments. So we want to talk about that tonight a bit. And Roseanne has something to read along these lines, and she may have something to say before she reads it.
I'll start reading. This is from The Mind and Its Mysteries. In the summer of 76, Swami gave some talks about the mind. The mind, as everyone knows, is the whole thing about meditation, is the controlling and the disappearance of the mind. So this is some stuff Sai Baba says, which I have to get to. Okay. It's a very good book or it's probably the Satya Sai Speaks from 76.
First, may I ask, can everybody hear us clearly?
Yes, brother.
Good sound. Okay, fine. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Okay, yeah, let us know if you can't hear us.
Right.
So Swami says, embodiments of love. It is better to realize that the duty of a sadhaka is to make an effort to channelize the mind in sacred and beneficial activities and thereby sanctify one's life. Moksha, liberation, is not merely to discard fleeting thoughts and desires. One has to develop faith in the eternal principle and thereby cultivate pure, unwavering, and selfless love. That is the pathway to moksha. One should not think that moksha is simply getting detached from an object or desire. If this is considered to be the yardstick for moksha, everyone is a mumukshu, an aspirant for liberation. They are not, however, muktas, liberated souls, since they develop attachment to some other object or entertain another desire. So you hear what he's saying? He's saying, we get attached to something and then we get detached, some disenchantment, so then we get detached. But it's temporary. So then we get attached to something else. So the process of becoming liberated from attachments is something different. To channelize the mind in the right direction and thereby unravel the mystery of the mind is the real meaning of moksha, liberation. I have been quoting an example quite often in my discourses. Excuse me. However, since some new people are here, I have to repeat. And this he did in several interviews I was with him, and he got a handkerchief, like the ones that Al got from him in on the Darshan lines, and he'd pull out his handkerchief and he'd say, "Look at this," and then he would say, "This is cloth. The basis for this cloth is the threads woven into warp and woof." So just imagine, if you probably heard this before, but just use your imagination, and the cloth is made out of threads. Without these threads, there can be no cloth at all. Similarly, the threads of our desires join together to make the cloth of our mind. It makes it very, very easy to see. It's these little threads of thoughts that make the mind. The threads and cloth are not different. Supposing you take out one thread after another, then there is no cloth at all. Similarly, when one desire after another is kept aside, the mind does not exist at all. Hence, if you wish to know the secret of the mind, know that the mind is a bundle of desires. The thoughts are desires. When the desires are removed completely, that state itself is mukti, liberation. Once a disciple went to his teacher and asked, "Swami, I do not have any desires to be fulfilled in this world. I have only one desire. I want mukti." The teacher then replied, "The fact that you do not have any desires is itself mukti. You can go." How then can we reduce our desires? In fact, you need not try to reduce your desires. The best and easiest sadhana would be to divert all your desires towards God. Whatever you aspire for, whatever you see, everything should be done in a spirit of dedication to God. If you can achieve this, that is enough. So whatever you aspire for, whatever you see, everything should be done in a spirit of dedication to God. We have also to realize the truth that the same divine Atma permeates every living being, and all are embodiments of the divine Atma. This can be achieved by a conscious effort at spiritual sadhana. Then he blessed everyone. Embodiments of divine Atma. Your sadhana will become fruitful if you make an effort to calm down your emotions and agitations as far as possible and divert your mind in the right direction.
So basically, how do we let go of our attachments and more fundamentally our desires? How do we do it? How, we all have these desires, in life. As we grow up, we let go of some of them, but some of them become stronger. Some people desire a better car, a better house. That's the more mundane materiality of life. But some people desire a better guru, or they desire to be closer to their guru, or they desire to bring their guru something, that they will be close to their guru if they bring him, or they think that they have to do something to get the attention of the guru. All these things are desires. And Swami's saying, just desire God. Do everything for God. Not even Satya Sai Baba, the form. Do that if that's the way that you only can see God, but if you can feel God's presence in all that is, in the air around, the trees, the bees, the flies, that especially the annoying ants. If you can see and feel God in the plants, in the people that are around you, us, in our friends, in our family, even in our foes, so-called foes, they're actually frenemies, because they're the only ones, the people that hate us, are the only ones that can prove, if we have it, that we love unconditionally. Those that persecute us, prosecute us, chastise us, make life miserable for us, what have been previously referred to as petty tyrants, are actually our best friends. They're better than our best friends. Our best friends just love us. They'll treat us nicely no matter what we do. That's not really a friend. If we have husbands and wives, of course, our husbands and wives, they'll correct us. Baba says, I get people married to each other so that the two rocks can rub each other smooth. The two egos can rub their egos out. That's what Swami has said. But the fact of the matter is, the best friends we have are the people that hate us. Because can we love them unconditionally? That's the real test of unconditional love, and the real test of surrender, in part. So can we let our desires go, one by one or collectively? Somebody said recently, well, I can do the subconscious cleansing meditation, if you know that meditation that we shared a while back. The subconscious cleansing meditation, and the fact is, when I do it, it's just one thing after another thing after another thing. There's infinite things. So they said, well, how about if I surrender my entire subconscious mind? Like, how about if I, in that cleansing meditation, just say, Swami, you take the entire mind. I don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. It's up to you. It's in your control now. Well, if we can actually do that, that would be spectacular, and we would be practically instantly liberated. But we can have that thought in mind that anything from the subconscious mind is all yours. Even the subconscious regulation of the heart, the breath, the lymph system, the hormones, we can let God do all that. We don't have to be concerned with that. But if the doctor says take this medicine, because that's God in doctor form, you take it. You don't say, oh, God's going to cure me. Yeah, right. God will cure you through the doctor's medicine, perhaps. Not always, but sometimes that's the way that God works. So whatever the case may be, you have to listen to the voice within. The still small voice within is God inside of us, telling us, this is right, this is wrong, do this, don't do that. However, it's very still, and mostly people don't listen to it in this Kali Yuga. But when we do listen to it, you have a feeling of, if you don't follow it, you have a feeling like getting pinched, like you're contracting. Oh. If you follow it, you feel like you're about to float off the earth, or you're going to feel more expanded if you follow it. So this is how we listen to the Sadguru within, God the Absolute within us, directing us, guiding us. One very, very wonderful yogi that and fully enlightened being that Satya Sai Baba sent Roseanne and I to from time to time. It was very secret. He didn't have a lot of people being around him, but Sai Baba knew of him, and they never met. And Swami and
physically.
And yes, they never met physically. And Swami would send us to him. He would come up and say, go to see Yogi so and so. So the fact is, once I went to India, and all of you know that I was close to Hilda, and I was her driver, right? And Hilda was the first Western devotee to live at Satya Sai Baba's in Prashanti Nilayam. No, there was one other Western devotee before Hilda. I think it was Indira Devi, but from Argentina. But she didn't live there. But Hilda lived there and stayed there. And so anyway, Sai Baba would tell Hilda that, you have to follow your heart. You have to follow God within your heart, within your conscience. That is the true guru. I represent that. I am the outside representation of the inner reality, Sai Baba would say to Hilda. and once Hilda, once she came back to America, I found Hilda, and I was a driver, and I lived with her, and all that. So she always wanted me around. But I felt drawn in 1980 after going to Sai Baba's in 1978 with Hilda and about 25 other people and having a wonderful time. It was fantastic beyond belief. But in 1980, I wanted to go back, and I felt drawn to go back, and I felt drawn from my inner self. And I said to Hilda, I want to go to India. 1980, I want to go to India. She said, well, I don't want you to go to India. I want you to stay here. Now, she could have been testing me. I don't have the time to ask her now, in physical form, because she's not here anymore. But, she's in the ether. Now, this is another thing. You can ask your guru in the ethers anything, and your mind can pretend that that's the answer. You got to be real careful about that. So the answer in here is not the answer in here. The answer in the heart is not the answer in the mind. The answer in the mind is not the answer in the heart. The answer in the heart, the conscience, comes from your soul self, from your Atma. And that is what you have to learn how to listen to that. That takes discernment. So the fact of the matter is, formerly termed discrimination, but we don't use that word anymore in America. So we use discernment. But the fact of the matter is, Hilda said, don't go. But I went. And when I arrived in Prashanti Nilayam from a cab from Bangalore, which takes 3.5 hours, as soon as I arrived there, I was within 3 feet of Satya Sai Baba, because I was asked by the people videotaping Satya Sai Baba to be their assistant immediately. They were waiting for me. So they instantly said, Al, come here. And they had me hold the camera equipment and the lines, and I was 3 feet from Swami for like 3 days, 4 days, instantly. And then that was birthday time, and we did birthday. And then when Swami went to Whitefield, back in those days he used to, I went along, and with the caravan of people that go, not because Swami invited me to go in a caravan, but because I was just following. And then it was Hanukkah, and I asked if the Jewish star could be put on the symbol, because in America they were scratching off the Zoroastrian symbol and putting on the Jewish star in some centers. You don't do that. You don't disrespect another religion for your religion. You don't substitute your religion for another religion and say this is a better religion than that religion. That's totally antithetical to Swami's teachings. So I asked Swami, with Hilda's urging, she said, okay, you're going to India. She realized that I was going to go. She said, at least do something while you're there for America. I said, what can I do for America? She said, ask Swami if he'll put the Jewish star on the symbol. I said, okay, I'll ask him. And so I asked through the proper channels. Michael Goldstein at the time was the proper channel. And I talked about it with Michael Goldstein, and he said, okay, I'll ask Swami. And when he asked Swami, he said, yes, we'll put the Jewish star on the symbol. So the Jewish star was put on the symbol, but it wasn't put on the symbol until at Hanukkah time, when we sang the prayers, and I happened to have the opportunity to do that because I knew the Hanukkah prayers. I sang the Hanukkah prayers to Swami directly, and Swami lit the candles of the menorah. And then Swami had a big Hanukkah party, and there were like 20 Jewish people there, and Dr. Hislop was there as well, and some other Indian dignitaries of Swami's entourage, and then there were the Jewish people. So we lit the menorah and then had a party, and Swami gave us a Hanukkah cake, and we sang bhajans, and we didn't sing any Jewish bhajans, just bhajans, and Jewish songs prior to all that. And then Swami said, the symbol that with the Jewish star on it goes everywhere in the world, but not India. Because in India, there's only 500 Jewish people, and they're all going to go to Israel anyway. So, that you don't need it in India. So, because actually Swami indicated that it would cause some controversy. And he didn't want that controversy in India. But the rest of the world, he said, all over the rest of the world, the Jewish star should be on the symbol. Now, I've never told this story publicly like this. And some countries decided, yes, we're going to do that. But some countries in Europe, actually the leaders of the Europe said, we're not going to put the Jewish star on the symbol. And I won't say what countries they were, but Swami was pretty upset with that one. So you know what he did? After a few years of this, he said, only the human values are going to be on the symbol. No more religions on the symbol. Only the human values. But he still said, whenever the interfaith symbols are used, the Jewish star has to be on it. And he said that for all of America especially, but for all the countries throughout the world except India. Now, that's not followed presently. So whenever I'm around, and if I see that the Jewish star isn't on the symbol, and I'm at some meeting somewhere, or regional meeting, or national meeting, or I always remind them the Jewish star has to be on the symbol, because Swami said so. But that's my thing. But the fact of the matter is, Hilda didn't want me to go. Now, when Swami sent me to this yogi after that Hanukkah celebration, and he told me, go see this yogi. And so I went, and I asked the yogi, I felt pulled to come to India, and Hilda said, no, don't go. And I was conflicted, and I feel a little guilty that I went, and now I'm going back to Hilda and living in New York City, and I'm still her driver, and Swami actually had blessed me in 1978 to take care of Hilda in all the ways that I could. So for 10 years from that moment on.
And you brought her back in 83.
And I brought her back to Swami in 83. Well, Swami brought her back because I don't do anything.
Right,
Swami does everything. So don't build my ego because you're supposed to rub it out.
You did it as an instrument.
Right. So, but I'm telling this story because it's very, very, very important. The yogi, who is a world famous yogi, fully enlightened, one with Swami. Swami said one with me and all that. And we don't mention other yogis' names and whatever. But okay, I'm going to say this was Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar, for those who may know about him. But he passed on in 2001, took Mahasamadhi. So Swami sent me to Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar. Go see Ram Sarat Kumar, Swami would say, or something he would indicate to me to go. So I went, and I sat before Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar, and I said, because there was only like 3 people there. It wasn't like 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 people sitting around Swami. So you can't really ask these types of personal questions that much. You don't really have the opportunity. And even when you're in a group interview, you can't ask those types of personal questions unless Swami lets you, because it could confuse some other people there. And he only lets a person ask a question that's going to be for the benefit of everyone. You can't even get it out of your mouth. If you even want to try, it just blocked. The Swami has full control. But the fact of the matter is, I said to Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar, Hilda didn't want me to come to India, but I felt compelled and urged inside to come to India. And he said his teacher was Papa Ram Das. He had 3 teachers, Sri Aurobindo, Papa Ram Das, and also Ramana Maharshi. And Swami Satya Sai Baba has celebrated the enlightenment of all those 3 people at various times throughout his discourses from the early days onward. But the fact of the matter is, he said, when the Papa Ram Das once told me, this is what Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar said, and this is really important. When Papa Ram Das told me, if the Papa Ram Das inside of you says one thing, and the Papa Ram Das outside of you says another, because they're embodiments of the Absolute, they're fully enlightened Aham Brahmasmi beings, they're in Brahman consciousness. When the Papa Ram Das inside you says one thing, and the Papa Ram Das outside of you says another thing, always follow the Papa Ram Das inside of you. This is what Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar related to me. So when I got home after a while, I shared that with Hilda. And she understood, and she said, that's true. But I also shared it in the company of other students, and she said, never say it in front of anybody else, because those other students will do whatever they want and rationalize it because they're not there yet. So keep this to yourself as much as you can discern who can actually handle that message. Because when the Satya Sai Baba says something outside of us and the Satya Sai Baba inside of us says another thing, you always follow the Satya Sai Baba inside of you. But make sure it's the truth, because there's a lot of imitation from the subtle qualities of the ego in the subconscious mind. And the ego loves to hang on. It's been there for millions of years, and it doesn't want to die, ever. It'll try to uproot and destroy Yasad any chance it possibly can. And that is what you have to be careful of. We have to be careful. And discernment is the way to understand how to do that. And it's a test that comes along the way. That can you follow the truth of your own soul within your heart, or is your ego pretending to be the truth of your own soul in your heart? And you have to know the difference. And if you can't know the difference, if you don't know the difference, you end up with a very bad guru somewhere off in the distant lands of India or America or somewhere where this guru is like saying, oh, I'm fully enlightened, and you're following this guru. And then you say, this is a spiritual teacher. And then you find out 10 or 5, or if you're lucky, 1 year later, that they're a complete phony and they're doing all sorts of things in secret. And there's many of those, and some of them are extremely famous in America. So be careful. Be very careful. Don't let the ego imitate your conscience. Sharanagati, surrender, complete surrender, means surrender to your inner truth of your own absolute in the form of the conscience and not the mind. The mind has nothing to do with it. Remember, Swami said, use a thorn to take out a thorn. And be careful. You have to throw that other thorn away eventually that you took out the thorn with. That's all in the mind. The higher teachings, you use the understanding of the mind of the higher teachings like these that we're explaining right now tonight from our own experience. You have to be willing to let those go and follow your inner Atmic conscience, your Atmic Sadguru that's carried within us all the time, within you, within me, within Roseanne. Now Roseanne's going to speak from that Atmic consciousness.
So, to go more into that is when Baba says like the mind is made out of thoughts and desires or the thoughts. So how do we're going to make a lot of mistakes, and you can't think that you can't panic whenever you have a mistake or give up. The mistakes are constant. It's just learning by trial and error and looking at where the desire is. Say somebody is going to say a wrong teacher. Like there'll be some little feeling that something's a little like it doesn't feel quite right. It's harder if you haven't met real teachers, but still, even if you haven't, if you have met Sai Baba, there's quite a big difference when you meet someone else. But people get fooled. And then what is it about our mind that fools us? And you have to really look carefully, what upholds our ego about the interaction with, this particular teacher or, a lot of what Sai Baba talks about is, Sevadal, the people in the organization that are supposed to be serving the other people in the organization, but then they get caught up in, I'm the doer, but even worse than that is I'm the important person here who's going to tell other people what to do. And instead of, like Sai Baba says, you're supposed to be, is there an old person having trouble? Is someone in the sun? Trying, talking sweetly, to make someone understand why they can't do something or why they should do something. He's always correcting them because they would just come up to you and go and yell at you. So it was like, what is it in me that's trying to get power or trying to be more important? And that all goes into, especially if you have a wrong teacher. And it's hard right now because Sai Baba's not in his body. Most of the great saints that, we knew that were really great saints, like, Ramana Maharshi, they're long gone. So what do we do to have the discernment that what is it that's real? What is it that is pure about someone, and then to feel if something's off a little. And it's the appeal. They somehow appeal to our ego and make us feel important. And with Sai Baba, like he would, these people would just be like hysterically adoring him, and then he'd say, you have blind faith, but you don't have real faith. And then he'd test them. I mean, he constantly was testing us. There'd be rumors on the internet. He'd say, don't get computers to the students because it's going to be a problem. And these computers are wonderful, and but then you get all these nasty things going on. Anyone can say any horrible thing. And people that didn't have real faith, they got swayed by it. So this constant work that we have to do to watch our mind and what it is that we're desiring. Do we desire from a teacher? Like all these teachers come through now, and they're nice. Generally they're very pleasant. For once, but then you feel like, well, this is not really. This is certainly not Sai Baba. What is it? What am I trying to get? And so you just keep looking and seeing, is it me trying to be spiritual, look spiritual, or fill in something that I can fill in myself with spirituality and looking outside of myself. The question is always, look, and just look and look and look and examine. And then the mind, when we spot the desires, then we can let them go. And the mind, one by one, thread by thread, as Sai Baba says, disappears.
When you don't have things resolved in your unconscious fully and completely, when you have things that you're hanging on to that are spiritually weighing you down, they could be the subtlest things. They always get reflected in the environment around you. And if you hang on them too long and you think that you've become a spiritual being, you will meet a teacher that has those things that you're hiding from yourself, and they have it in them, but they will be hiding it from you as well. And then sooner or later you'll find out, oh, they have this flaw. They want money, or they want power, or they still sexual, and they're doing so-called tantric yoga and a bunch of nonsense. And then
or selling things.
And
that are blessed.
That are blessed. Yeah. Buy this, buy that. I bless that. All those gimmicks. Or they charge a lot of money for the ashram food, or whatever it may be.
Or for meditation.
Or for meditation, or special yagnas. This is all nonsense. This is not spiritual purity. Then what happens is you get caught up in it. And when you finally realize, oh my God, this teacher, and I had Mahesh Yogi, who Swami, as soon as I got there, said, Mahesh Yogi, big beggar, boom, cut, just like that. That's all he had to say. Yeah, I never heard him say anything bad about anybody. Only that one thing. And I was a TM teacher. I was a transcendental meditation teacher for Mahesh Yogi. I even taught his teachers for him for a year. But the fact of the matter is, Swami just cut it just like that. And then I realized to myself, I had an attachment to money. I wanted some money. I thought I can teach meditation, which I love to teach for Mahesh Yogi, and I can make some money. And Swami eventually said to me, if you do that, you have the karma of everybody you teach. You take their karma on, and you owe them, each and every one of them, because you're taking something from them which they have as a part of their breath and as part of their birthright to meditate. And it's only ever given for free. Meditation should never, ever be charged for. And Swami told me that. And so did Hilda and Yogi Ram Sarakumar. They all told me the same exact thing, independent of one another. And they don't say that for everybody, but they said it to me. And I'm saying it to you. So, because Swami said it. So, the fact of the matter is, if you don't clean up yourself, you will meet that unclean part of you in the world around you. And ultimately, if you think you're spiritually evolved and you still have that stuff inside, you will meet it in the form of a bad guru. And you'll have to go through that process. Because that's the way life works. It shows us, as a mirror would, the dirt within ourselves. It's an authentic, transparent mirror.
Tissues over there if you want.
So, okay, time to meditate, right? We can go on like this for hours.
Sorry, we talked about it.
Does anybody have any questions? We have like 5 minutes more before we really have to get into a 45-minute meditation session. So that's a long session as it is. So if anybody has a question, feel free to open your mic and ask. Mina and Dina? No? Nice to have you here, by the way. And our friend, I can't read your name, Pamela. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Ram.
Hi, Rob.
This is Veena. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my question, it's almost embarrassing, but this is the holiday season, and it just, whether you like it or not, many of us feel stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And besides what's going on around or inside or with family, the traditional stuff. The environment is charged.
Yes.
This week of Black Friday, you kind of feel the frenzy outside. And sometimes the body shows the stress before the mind realizes it's stressed. And then there's baggage from the past, I find, that is associated with this season. Is there anything particular that we can do in meditation?
So vibrationally, the yogis and all the people in the ashram always aspire to all the mantras and the meditation and the darshan that Sai Baba gave, as well as other fantastic sadgurus in the past. They always lifted the vibratory rate of the devotees there. And so if you lift your vibratory rate through sadhana, the vibratory rate of all that materiality and the greed and the rush for it is rajasic at best, tamasic at worst. Those are very low vibrations. Sattvic vibration is here, tamasic is here, and rajasic is here. You're above that vibratory rate, so it's like you don't even feel it. You could be aware of it because you see it, but you don't get caught in the rush of it. You don't get sucked into the black hole of a rajasic behavior of greed and tamasic behavior of me first, and everybody else last.
Does that also apply to one's own past baggage that is associated with the seasons? Or for that, one has to do the subconscious cleansing meditation? You
don't have, well, Roseanne knows.
Just the attachments are this is like the time when you're supposed to see your family. So there's all these attachments. And Sai Baba always talks about, we've had so many children and husbands and parents and wives, and it's like I said at the beginning of what his talk was, you have an attachment and then you drop it and you're not free. You just take up with the next attachment. So the holidays really, they make you look at the attachments, because we're forced to be with the people who are attached to, and all this stuff comes out. So it's always a choice, how we're gonna deal with stuff. It's just the only thing I think that's worse is when like cancel the parents die and you have to have the siblings work at cleaning up the house and all the junk that the parents have accumulated over 90 years, and the whether you're going to fight about the vase, kind of thing. And the holidays are, the eating and talking about stuff, and then you have like these differences of opinion. So it's like Al says, we have a choice. We could lift ourselves above that and just sort of compassionately love everyone as the embodiment of God, and also look at our attachments, because you're forced to look at your attachments, and say our mantra while we're doing it. So definitely meditation helps because that detaches us. And so that's why we're meditating. That's why you're here.
So Swami gives us family members to push our buttons and show us where we're attached.
Yes,
You forgot all your family members for 1,000 lifetimes. Where are they now?
You brought up the two important points that Swami keeps talking about, desires and attachments. And that's the key here, right? In this
Right.
talking about. So thank you for those reminders.
You're welcome. I'm reading the chats here.
Yeah.
So we
They-
got some brothers and sisters from Malaysia today.
Oh, have them.
So that's from Zone 4. So that's why I just welcome them.
Welcome. We are meditating now, so you don't have to despair. We're not going to blab on forever. And
Saram brother, can I ask one question, please?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I'm Brother James from Malaysia. Now,
Welcome.
the question is, just now it was interesting that, I have been practicing TM for 22 years. Now, 40 years with Swami guidance. After 20 years, I came to Swami, all right? So Swami guided me further. Now, the thing is, just now you give a very interesting your experience. You say, why not I teach TM and have some income? And Swami say, you're going to bear all the karma of you're going to teach the TM. So the question is, how is it connected to karma when you collect money from the devotee? Of course, traditionally, we are not supposed to collect money, right? But your opinion. I mean, what Swami said is true, but just want to know, how do you explain that when you collect from members, there is a karma link? Can you please explain, Sairam?
Because God gives life freely, God gives breath freely, and all the greatest of all saints that ever walked the earth depended on God's grace to take care of them completely. And as Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, for those that dedicate their lives to doing my work and dedicate all work to me without attachment to the fruits of the action, I vow, I promise, and it is my responsibility, my duty, to take care of them completely, as well as their families. Krishna said that. It was a promise. Now, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says that to Arjuna because it gives us as humanity that promise, but that was always the promise. He took care of the rishis. They didn't have anything. They didn't earn money. They sat in meditation and shared their wisdom with everyone as best they could. They wrote down the Vedas that they cognized. They didn't ask money for that. Just because it's modern times and in the darkest part of the Kali Yuga right now, and people generally are more attached to money than anything else collectively. Now, there are a few people that are attached to God more than anything else, but it's not that many in comparison to the population that's attached to money. Money is their God. That's a material world consciousness. As a spiritual being, we want to let go of that. Now, Swami has said that in certain service projects that money's needed. You present the project and you say to everybody, this will take some contribution. But you don't ask for the money from each person. It's their voluntary gift out of their kindness of their heart and soul that they feel urged from the God within them to contribute to this project. However, Swami said, if you don't get enough money to do the project, don't do the project, drop the project. Swami specifically said that. He said it many times in the earlier days of the organization, many, many, many times. So that was from 1975 for the Western world, for the world outside of India onward. But the fact of the matter is, God takes care of everyone who does everything for God and doesn't worry about material concerns. And that's the way Roseanne and I have lived, actually.
But it doesn't mean you don't work, because, like, I'm retired, but Al still works. Work is worship, Sai Baba says. But we don't do it for money.
We do it because it's the right thing to do. And there is the standard of earnings. At a certain age, it might get a little higher because of your professional or work experience. So you expect to earn a little more. You have the right to ask for that to support your family. But God takes care of us. We have no savings. I got a
Yeah,
very
thank you.
expensive stuff.
Yeah, brother, you give very, very good answer because why? Like we are running a center. You know, when we started the center, we need money, a lot of money. I said, Swami, where do we have the money? The answer was, don't you have faith? And in the end, when the renovation finished, we got exactly the same amount to renovate the center. Exactly the same amount.
That's right.
Only probably about 1,000 or 2,000 ringgit extra only. I couldn't imagine how Swami arranged. So sometimes it's his blessing, his grace, and the faith in him. And you give the pure, beautiful answer. Thank you, brother.
My dear brother, now from Malaysia. Now listen, I've been in the organization since 1975, since the inception of it. And actually, and a little bit before that too, but before it was a formal organization of Satya Sai International Organization and all the evolution of that. But in reality, I've heard this at least 1,000 more times. Exactly what you just said about many, many different projects that needed economic support, and were done and when they were done correctly with contributory from the heart mentality, give as you can if you wish to, then they were given almost the exact money like you just described, maybe a little bit more for a buffer, just in case something extra was needed. And Swami always knew extra was needed in some way or fashion. It was always the exact amount that was needed, not short either. So I've heard this
thank you.
many, many, many times, hundreds and almost 1,000 times.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. The other thing is, brother, I'm in a rush. I have some work to do. So the thing is, I think this is being recorded. I'm going to put in the chat my name and my phone number. Please forward this recording to me because I would like to run through with you your session. Right? I might miss your session, because I don't have much time.
Don't put your name in the chat because this goes out on YouTube to the entire public, every country, every person, every level of consciousness. Don't put your name and number in the chat, but give it to Sai Prasanna and people can get in touch with her and share it.
I can pass it on. I can pass it on to you, brother.
You have my phone
I have
number,
your
right,
number.
sister?
Yes, I have.
Good. Thank you. Sairam. The other thing is, brother, just to share with you, actually, surprising, after 20 years, Swami called. Of course, Swami kicked open the door because I was with Maharshi, very strong like you. So I wouldn't go and see him. But Swami got his way of calling me. Then the first time when I went to see Swami, he said, "Oh, you have come." I didn't understand everything about Swami. I didn't know he's God, But then after a few years there, I realized he gave me a lot of divine experience. And then he guided me into deeper meditation, like Buddhist, Hindu, and all that, so many enlightened guru that, even books I don't want to buy, he will ask a friend to bring the book to me to read. But because we got 20 years experience that time, right, we understand what the guru is talking about, right? I'm sure you read also the same because you are also a meditator. So what happened was, after a few years, probably 4 or 5 years, Swami somehow arranged, I think brother Professor Dr. Suresh, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he was the one, when I first time went to it, we were interviewed together with Billy Fong and all that, So Suresh didn't know me because I was totally new. But where, he being a scientist, he do research into me and then he said, "James, why not you come and share your meditation with others?" So that's how I started the meditation sharing. But I didn't share from my own words. Rather, I used the master book, the Enlightened Master, Ramamashi, Yogananda. And then from my experience, I shared with them for a few years. Then one day, Professor Suresh said, "James, why not I write a program on the meditation?" Program and meditation. I said, "Brother, meditation is above the mind. I can't write, But anyway, I tried. twice I tried, I couldn't write even for 5 minutes. Then what happened was, one morning when I was meditating, suddenly I heard God's voice. Baba spoke to me actually in silence. When I was in Puttapati, he can be 30 feet away. And when I asked questions, he answered me. And that time I didn't know he was answering me to silence, you know. Only later when Suresh enlightened me, that I realized, oh, he didn't open his mouth, he's talking far away and I can hear his voice, you know. So what happened was, Suresh said, why not you write a program? I failed, I couldn't write. So one morning when I was meditating, suddenly I heard God's voice, why not you write a program? So I know I couldn't write. So I said, why don't you give I do? And God didn't answer, you know. So I can't do anything. What happened was, after 1 week, a few days later, one night after finish work, about 10 p.m. to about 12:30, suddenly my whole body filled with light energy. The program just come as vision. Actually, it's a soul harm meditation. I don't know whether you'll be sharing the same, but anyway, there are different meditation leading to the same goal. So the program was given, and actually for the past more than 15 years, I've been sharing this soul harm meditation in few countries. But of course, it's all free, as you said, we can't charge, because Swami is very happy, because he said there are a lot of meditation in the market, but then all talk about money. So Swami have given a sign that I shouldn't collect not even a single cent. So this program is divine given, a beautiful program. It covers more than 20 years of my experience and knowledge. So I've been sharing. I hope one day you come to Malaysia, I can share with you.
Beautiful. But I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to take this question very seriously.
Yes.
Who is it that's sharing the meditation?
I'm sharing it.
Who is the
following the program? Following the program.
No, you are not the one sharing the meditation. If you think that, if you think I am sharing
I'm not
the meditation,
sharing. I'm the
who is
program.
it that's
I'm
sharing
following
the
the program.
meditation?
Of course, it's Swami.
Swami inside of you is doing it.
Brother.
Nobody else, nothing else. Nobody else, nothing else. If the I comes in and you think you're doing it, that's the ego.
No.
Subtle as it may
I never
be.
do. Yeah. In fact, Swati, brother, yeah, like, because when we conduct the meditation, you don't even think the knowledge just come, you know.
Who is it that wrote that book?
That's Swami.
Okay. Who is it that distributed the book?
What book is that? Sorry, I don't have the book.
Who is it that shared the book?
Which book you are talking about, brother?
You didn't write it?
Did you write the book?
Yeah, when the vision came, I just wrote it on
who is it that wrote the book? Who is it that wrote the book?
Of course, it's Swami. Swami who wrote.
Who is it that distributed the book?
Swami.
Yes.
And who reads it?
Yeah.
Who is it that reads the book?
Swami.
Yes. Who is it that meditates upon the book?
Swami.
Who is it that's meditating within that person that's meditating on that book?
Swami himself.
Very good.
You ever see that picture of Sai Baba talking to Sai Baba?
Yeah.
Swami manifested a picture.
Actually, now
Sai
and then
Baba talking to Sai Baba. And Swami said, this is how I conduct interviews. It's Sai Baba talking to Sai Baba. It's God talking to God. It's never anything else, no one else, nothing else. That's only God, Father, Mother of us all, God, oneness of the absolute, always doing everything. Nothing else, no one else.
Yeah, all is divine will. Yeah, correct.
That way, the ego can dissolve in the ocean of the absolute, the ocean of love.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
No, Sairam. Okay.
Sairam.
Roseanne's going to lead off with the Soham and then beyond that.
We'll switch. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for being patient, forbearant, and compassionate.
It's very, very, very educational. It's good. All right. Check your posture. Make sure.
I tell you, now they are conducting the Soham meditation.
Mute your mic. Everybody mute your mics.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing.
All right. Breathe in. Hold it a second. Breathe out. Breathe in again. And hear sound of our in-breath. Hold it a second. Hum, breathing out. In, hum, breathing out. Breathe in, hum. Now do this on your own for a few minutes. Hear your breath saying, I am that. I am I. Hum. Say it inside. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to on the in-breath. Hum. Feel it inside. Put all your concentration on your breath. Feel like Sai Baba is breathing within you, feeling your heart, this beautiful energy with each breath. Know that Sai Baba is within us. He does everything. He breathes within us. The air, the prana comes into us. Oxygen just fills our lungs. All his beautiful energy fills our whole body. Just like the oxygen coming through our arteries. This beautiful substance of love fills our body from the tips of our toes up through our body. Every cell is alive. Every cell is just glowing with love. Feel it. Feel every organ of the body filled with this wonderful grace. Sai Baba's love. It's always in the air. We just pull it in, fill ourselves. Good health, happiness, abundance, love. We are just filled with this wonderful grace. Every breath. Feel your shoulders relaxing. You're just filled with light. And then this light goes down into your fingertips. You're just totally relaxed and totally healthy in this wonderful light. Heart is just filled with Sai Baba's love. Just feel it. Feel how wonderful it is. Contemplate on the beauty of this love. Divine love. With no attachment.
Let the heart fill with the light of love. Go beyond the breath now. Let the breath go. And let the mind dwell on Om, the fundamental sound of the universe, from which all other sounds come from. Let's go to the root of the mind with Om. And let the imagination dwell on the heart center, as if there's a candle flame in the heart, the light of love that grows brighter and stronger with every Om in the mind, till it turns into the brightness of the sun in the sky and the fullness of that in the heart center. Let's do that for a few minutes. These are the two fences on the road inward, the inner path to the self. God within you, Sai Baba within you, the Atma within you. Om. When the mind wanders and you notice, never mind, don't judge it or criticize it for wandering. It's just doing its thing. You're taming the wild horses. There, go back gently, easily, effortlessly when you realize the mind's wandered away from Om and the light within your heart center, and come back to that. One or the other, or both if you like. Either way, God's waiting for you to meet your own true self, embodiments of love that you are. Use the Om in the mind and the light in your heart to drill deeper into the inner well of consciousness. Tap that source. Don't give up. Give up tiredness, give up lack of focus, but never give up God within you. When you feel your heart's full of love and light, with the power of Om in the mind, let it expand, let it overflow into the temple of the body, just like the blood flows from the physical heart. Let the spiritual blood of love and life flow from your spiritual heart, from the tips of the toes to the top of the head, every cell, every atom of you soaked in the love that is God. God self within you, love within you. Love is God, God is love, love more, power of Om in the mind. Let the heart open to Baba. You can witness him there in the heart center if you like, or any other name or any other form, or the absolute, beyond all name, beyond all form. I am that I am. Love more. Love is the way home. The Om in the mind will take you home, and love is the path. Om. Let this love flow through the shoulders, arms, as if the body's hollow. Temples filled with God. These temples filled with God. Om, nothing but God, everything God. All thoughts are God. All feelings are God. All aspects of life are God. All events are God. There's nothing but Father, Mother, God, always, everywhere. Om. Let that be your inner reality, your inner awareness. Love flow through the neck into the head, back, then the front. The whole brain lit up with God's love and light. The power of Om in the mind. A million suns inside, not just one, the whole universe. Let the light of love travel from the forehead like the sun at sunrise. See it there. In the forehead, the sun at sunrise, God at sunrise, in the sixth chakra, whole of the body lit up, traveling the inner sky of consciousness, transversing the inner sky of consciousness. The sun rises to high noon at the top of the head. Just imagine it. You've seen it a million times. Till you're focused on the top of the head. The high noon, sun at high noon. Om. The whole temple automatically fills with love and light. When you visualize the love and light of God at the top of the head with the power of Om in the mind and the reality of love embodied by the true you. Om. You can call upon your favorite form of God if you like to help you along the way. God's grace be upon us. Sai Baba's grace be upon us. Help us, Swami. Know the true you, within us, and the oneness of love all around and all through. Oh, help us, Swami. Krishna, Sai Rama, Sai Shiva, Sai Durga, Sai. Let go of the boundaries of this body. Let there be light flowing out the top of the head like a fountain overflowing. Gates of heaven at the top of the head open. And love just pours out because the soul of you cannot be contained within a physical form. It is infinite and eternal. True you has no boundaries in space nor in time. Oh, shine like the sun. I am I. If you're having trouble catching up, just do it at your own pace. Go beyond my words. Live in love. Feel the love within you living. Feel God within you thriving, growing. Each and every Om in the mind and every breath and heartbeat. I am that I am. Om. Expand and encompass all. Om. Let the room be filled with light that you're sitting within. Let your consciousness expand like the sun expands and light up the community around you. And whoever appears before your mind's eye, before your own inner awareness, let them be in this light of love. Bless them in this light of love. Let it be lit in their lives, their own soul power. Oh, power of love. Try harder. Swami says the only thing standing between you and enlightenment is the intensity of your awareness and effort. The intensity of your effort and the intensity of your awareness. Don't get lazy. Power, the God within you empowers you. The God within you knows the truth of you. And all of us. Om. I am that I am. Om. Fill the world. All beings. God beings. Fill the world with love. Om. Focus, don't move. focus beyond the body, beyond the mind. Let the whole sky be lit up with love, the clouds, the sky, the stars beyond them, the space between the stars. The true body of God is the entire universe, and that is your true body as well, because we are one with that. We are the God within every being, every atom, every single subatomic particle that comprises the entire universe. The true body of you and I and all that is the universe. That oneness of love. Love more. Intensely. Om. The word of love is Om. I am I. So Baba says that's our true name, I am I, and that is our only name. Om. Keep going. Let the desires drop away. Let the experiences drop away. Let the traumas drop away. Let the attachments drop away. I am I. The dream is over this moment. If you want it to be, the dream is over. The Maya is finished. If you want it to be, let it go. The yagna of life. Om. For those of you that would like to go a little deeper, know this. The true you was never born and will never die. Beyond time and space, eternal, infinite, immortal, absolute. The true you. The indivisible, supreme you. The infinite you. Was never born and will never die. Before all creation, you are that. You are that now and always will be. Before the Big Bang, you are that. Let it go, let the Big Bang go and everything that followed. Be the true. Be the truth that sets you free. Be the love that you truly are, that created the universe. Source of Om. I am that I am. Just be. If the mind comes up, come back to Om and think, what is the source of my thought of Om? Who is it that thinks the Om? Who am I that can observe my thinking the Om? Who am I really? Lift us all over into thy bosom, to the ocean of love. only one that meditates within you is the God within you. Let God within you do it. Surrender to God within you. Surrender the mind to God within you. You will know the truth that sets you free, the power of love, eternal love. Go deeper in arms, Baba. Sharanagati. Go deeper in arms, Baba. Surrender of the heart. Surrender of the mind to the heart. Surrender of the heart to the soul. Surrender of the soul to the Absolute. I am I. So now be aware of how you feel right now in your conscious awareness. Who is the true you? Who am I really? And bring that awareness back into the temple of the heart, the altar and the temple of the body. Bring that awareness back into everyday life. Don't leave it out there somewhere. This is not a place to just get high. This is a place to live in the highness of love, this earth, and share it. But the only way that you can really love and serve God is to love each and every being as God, and serve every being as you would God, until you realize that God is every being that you serve, and there is no real service. There is only God, loving God, all the time, in action through service, with no attachment to the result or even the action. So bring that awareness back into the temple of the body as we om for peace on this earth. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be prosperous. May all beings have all their needs met. And may their good dreams come true. And may all their loved ones have the same. Let God love through you and heal the world. This earth is a golden globe of love, and every being lit with the golden light of God. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We are grateful to God for the very breath of life and everything that follows. Have that attitude of gratitude this week, this month, of all the high holy days and holidays. Have an attitude of gratitude going into the new year. And all we've added unto you. Thank you, everyone. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
Take your time coming out of meditation as long as you need. Not quickly, though. Thank you, Sai Prasanna, for having this meditation on a monthly basis.
Thank you, brother. It's beautiful. What a good way to start the Thanksgiving weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And closing prayers?
Sure. Yeah. So the next session will be in December. We'll send the email out. I think it was December 18th. I just need to confirm. So please join us then.
December 18th.
Okay, thank you.
Just make sure that 1 minute. I think I put it in my email before. Yeah, next session is December 18th. Hope all of you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you, Brother Al, and thank you, Sister Roseanne.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय साई राम थैंक यू
Jai Bo Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Babaji Ki.
Jai.
Thank you. Sai Ram. See you all next month.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.